Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Mzansi and USA News. Well, it seems that MK has celebrated a little bit too early on the Jacob Zuma saga, whether he could stand as a candidate to become the president of the Republic of South Africa. The IEC asked the top court to set aside order on MK Party and Jacob Zuma. The IEC received 22 objections to Zuma's eligibility to stand for elections based on his being sentenced to a 12-month prison term without an option of a fine. The Electoral Commission of South Africa has approached the Constitutional Court on an urgent basis to appeal against the order of the Electoral Court, which paved the way for former President Jacob Zuma to run for election. On March 8th, the MK Party submitted its list of candidates for the upcoming election, and it included Zuma in its list for the National Assembly. The IEC received 22 objections to Zuma's eligibility to stand for the election based on the fact that he had been sentenced to a 12-month prison term without the option of a fine. Zuma and the MK Party appealed against the IEC's decision, and the Electoral Court ruled in favor of the MK Party and Zuma on Tuesday. On Thursday, the IEC applied to the Constitutional Court for an order to declare that Zuma was convicted of an offense and sentenced to more than 12 months imprisonment, and is accordingly not eligible to be a member of and not qualified to stand for an election to the National Assembly until 5 years has lapsed since the completion of his sentence. Wow. In his founding affidavit, chairperson of the IEC, Mosotho Mupia, said the Constitutional Court declared Zuma was guilty of the crime of contempt and sentenced him to 15 months imprisonment without the option of a fine on June 29, 2021. A few weeks into his sentence, Mr. Zuma was released on medical parole. About 2 years later, the SCA, that is the Supreme Court of Appeal, overturned that decision, meaning that Zuma was supposed to go back to prison. Okay, so now, if the matter, well, before that, because this is, I read as far as over here, so what we now need, Mupia said the effect of the Supreme Court of Appeal's judgment was that Zuma had to return to prison. Well, it's actually what I said now. On the 11th of August 2023, the same day Zuma returned to prison, President Cyril Ramaphosa granted thousands of prisoners a remission of their sentences to ease prison overcrowding, and Zuma was one of them. The question presented is whether Mr. Zuma was convicted of an offense and sentenced to more than 12 months imprisonment for the purposes of Section 47 1E of the Constitution, rendering him ineligible to stand for election to the National Assembly, Mupia said. This section disqualifies anyone convicted of an offense and sentenced to more than 12 months imprisonment without the option of a fine from being a member of the National Assembly. It was in the public interest for the court to assume jurisdiction over this application and decide it before the election scheduled to be held on May 29, Mupia said. If the matter is not finalized before then, there is a real risk that the erroneous finding of the Electoral Court will produce a disputed outcome, because a person who is not qualified would have been allowed to contest in breach of the Constitution. Mupia said the court did not deliver reasons for its order. He said according to the election timetable published in Government Gazette in February, the Electoral Court was required to consider and decide an appeal in respect of an objection to a candidate list by April 9. Mupia said the IEC requested the Electoral Court to urgently provide reasons for its order, and these had not been provided when the Commission filed its application for leave to appeal. No indication given by the court as to when reasons will be given. In these circumstances, the Commission simply cannot wait. Okay, so basically, Section 47, let's look at Section 47. So here we are in Section 47, right? So we'll read Section 47 1E. Every citizen who is qualified to vote for National Assembly is eligible to be a member of the Assembly, except, then we are going to go to E. Anyone who, after this section took effect, is convicted for an offense and sentenced to more than 12 months imprisonment without the option of a fine, either in the Republic or outside the Republic, if the conduct constituting the offense would have been an offense in the Republic. But no one may be regarded as having been sentenced until an appeal against the conviction of a sentence has been determined, or until the time for an appeal has expired. A disqualification under this paragraph ends 5 years after the sentence has been completed. Okay, so to me, that seems like a slam dunk. It seems like a concluded matter, you know, that the comrades have celebrated early. Can you see that? Because the Constitution there, even a layman like myself can simply understand that. You see? Every citizen who is qualified to vote for National Assembly is eligible to be a member of the Assembly, except, and you can see the argument being made there by the IEC. It's based on that provision of the Constitution. So there's no way President Zuma or former President Jacob Zuma is going to be allowed to stand for the elections, according to what I've just seen here. The Constitutional Court will obviously set aside the Electoral Court's decision. Well, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Based, of course, on the facts, not based on whether or not you like Jacob Zuma or you like MK or you dislike MK. So all those who are on Zuma's Kool-Aid should not come here and tell and be using vulgar and be saying we're going to vote for Zuma whether you like it or not. Zuma should be on the ballot. Well, now we have laws in this country. And here, remember what the Constitution says of itself. Maybe I should remind you, because I perceive that the MK has similar members as the Red Berets, the EFF, people who are on crazy tablets by far majority. Let me remind you, paragraph 2 of the Constitution. Let's go back there. Paragraph 2, the supremacy of the Constitution. What does it say? So that you understand that whatever decision a lower court has made can literally be overturned by the Constitutional Court. Supremacy of the Constitution. This Constitution is the supreme law of the Republic. Law or conduct inconsistent with it is invalid, and the obligations imposed by it must be fulfilled. That's why I know that this decision is going to be set aside. Give me your opinion down below. What do you think about it? Ciao, ciao.